विपदा को इस्तीफा देना होगा, इस्तीफा तुमको देना होगा, शिक्षा व्यवस्था ठीक करो.
Is the Cockroach Janta Party protest becoming a genuine people's movement? Or is it another protest that generated online buzz, political debate, and viral visuals but failed to translate into a nationwide wave? That is the question dominating social media as images and videos from the Abhijeet Dipke's led protests demanding resignation from Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan over the NEET fiasco continue to circulate online. Supporters say the movement is growing. Critics say the crowd don't reflect the hype. And despite the debate, the protest continues. Nobody seems to have a clear answer, and here is why. The biggest criticism facing the protest right now is momentum, not anger, not the issue itself, momentum. Many observers have pointed to crowd sizes and asked whether the movement is actually expanding beyond its core supporters. Questions are being raised. If public sentiment is really this strong, where are the massive crowds? Why isn't the protest dominating national headlines every single day? Has the movement reached its peak already? For critics, the protest has struggled to create the kind of nationwide wave that organizers may hope for. Supporters, however, argue that judging a movement purely through aerial crowd shots misses the bigger picture. Another aspect that raises uncertainty is CJP's non-political call. Dipke has mostly stuck to his stand that the movement is not political but purely social, and here things get complicated.
लेकिन 12 स्टूडेंट सुसाइड करते, पिछले 48 घंटे में 6 स्टूडेंट सुसाइड करते, उसके बाद भी कुर्सी पर बने रहते, ये सही बात है, और हम जो कर रहे हैं वो गलत है.
Every major public campaign eventually faces the same test. Can it move beyond a cause and become a movement? And that usually requires leadership. While activists, students, and civil society groups have participated in the campaign, there is still debate over whether the movement has a clearly identifiable national leadership structure. Who is coordinating the message? Is Abhijeet Dipke setting all the agenda? Will Dipke remain only face when campaign grows larger? For supporters, the issue should remain bigger than any one individual. Critics, the absence of a clear leadership structure makes it harder to build long-term momentum. Either way, the leadership question continues to follow the protest. Another talking point is the environmental activist and Ladakh campaigner Sonam Wangchuk's association with the movement. Many supporters had expected Wangchuk to become one of the faces of the movement. Wangchuk proved to be a frontrunner during the initial days, joining the protest and raising his voice. He did join the second leg of the protest briefly, however, he is not spotted with Dipke much thereafter. Some believe his participation could have dramatically increased public attention and media coverage. Others argue that the movement should not depend on a single personality and must stand on its own issues. Regardless of the reason, Wangchuk's dwindling role has undoubtedly become part of the conversation surrounding the protest. When the protest was announced, Instagram followers skyrocketed, surpassing political parties in no time. Global media paid attention, CJP continuously hit headlines. But what about now? You can't find much coverage, and that paints a worrying picture for the cockroaches and their supporters. They argue that media coverage follows public interest and that truly massive movements naturally dominate the news cycle. The result is another debate surrounding protest. Is the movement underreported? Or is it simply not large enough yet to command sustained national and international attention? That question remains unanswered. One of the most interesting aspects of this movement is the gap between online visibility and physical mobilization. On social media, the protest continues to generate discussion. Videos circulate widely, posts receive millions of views, hashtags trend, but political history shows that viral engagement and real-world mobilization are not always the same thing. The challenge facing every modern movement is converting online attention into sustained participation on the ground, and that may ultimately determine the future of this protest. This brings us to the most important point. Whether one believes the movement is succeeding or struggling, it has not disappeared. Protests are continuing at Jantar Mantar. Some credible faces are joining the protest. Supporters continue discussing the issues online and offline. And most importantly, the conversation hasn't ended. For those backing the campaign, that persistence matters more than a single day's turnout. Because movements really succeed or fail in one moment. They evolve over time. So, is the CJP protest a success or a disappointment? The answer depends entirely on what metric you are using. If success is measured purely by crowd size, critics argue the movement has fallen short of expectations. If success is measured by sustained activism, continued participation, public debate, and keeping an issue alive despite criticism, supporters believe the movement remains very much alive. One thing, however, is certain. Despite criticism, despite questions over attendance, despite debates about leadership and media coverage, the protest has not disappeared. And as long as it continues, so will the debate over what it ultimately represents. How CJP plans to move next will be closely watched by observers, and this will prove whether these cockroaches are masters of survival or not. Thank you so much for watching. This is Ankit signing off for Times Now Digital. Keep watching for more such videos.